What up, though? This is your boy Mike D, host of Wrestling from the 313. And as always, we are brought to you by the WSN Network, the Wrestling Society Network. Download the app on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire Stick. You go on there, catch a whole bunch of wrestling content, old wrestling matches, documentaries, a lot of cool stuff. So make sure you check them out. Speaking to WSN, I want to give a shout out to Professor Bear. Later on this week, actually this weekend on Saturday, he is going into the 2025 Commonwealth Pro Wrestling Legacy Hall of Fame. And on Thursday is his birthday also. So shout out to Professor Bear. Congratulations to going into the Hall of Fame, and also happy early birthday. And my guest today is a writer for Pro Wrestling Wire and West Virginia Wrestling Federation, Courtney Wood. What up, though, and welcome to Wrestling from the 313.
Thank you so much for having me. And I love the video that played. That was so cool.
Hey, you know what? For a long time when I started, I didn't have an intro. It was just the logo and stuff. So when I found something for like a little intro, I decided to do that. So yeah, I kind of want to switch it up a little bit, but for right now, it's been cool.
So, yeah, I loved it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So let's get things started. First off, before you got into writing and stuff for wrestling, when did you become a fan of pro wrestling, and who were like your favorites growing up?
Oh man, I was a wrestling fan in early of '99. I was probably in like 4th or 5th grade. And that was back when Raw was recorded like a week in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back when Bischoff would read the results.
Yup.
Yeah. My friend was telling me about that he went to Raw, and it was the Raw where China got shot with a fireball.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, wow, that happened here? Like, I have to see that. And I saw it, and I fell in love immediately. Like, not just with China, but then Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I saw Stone Cold, and I was hooked. So I've been obsessive about wrestling ever since.
That's what's up. Yeah. See, me when I was a fan of pro wrestling, I go back to like the 80s, the golden era. So I'm kind of telling my age. I'm in my 40s, but I remember it all. Just the golden era when Hogan and Savage and Andre the Giant and all them were wrestling. And I could remember, just trying to stay up late watching Saturday night's main event when he used to come on late on NBC. And that was just a good time. But like you said, that era, 99, if you went back to 97, 96, 97, when like the Monday Night Wars was really starting, like when Sky Hall and Kevin Nash got to WCW, and just the whole birth of Austin 316 when he won the King of the Ring, I think that was like the best era of wrestling, in my opinion.
It definitely was. I unfortunately didn't get to see it live, but I knew traders, and you could go to the local video store and rent them. So I got caught up pretty quickly, but I can't imagine what some of those moments would have been like live.
Yeah. There were some pretty good moments. I still remember when DX had pulled up in the army tank at the Nitro show. And because I saw a documentary about that not too long ago. And I was just thinking, what if WCW would have actually let them in and they were on Nitro while they was really on Monday Night Raw? Like, that would have been like groundbreaking.
It was definitely a missed opportunity, and probably like one of the biggest what ifs in wrestling history. They should have let that happen.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would say I probably think the only reason why they didn't probably because of like maybe like the networks, and then who knows what would have happened if you would have let four WWE guys go into an arena with a whole bunch of WCW guys. Ain't no telling what type of fights or right or whatever would have broke out.
Well, from my understanding, what I would assume happened would be all of DX would have gotten stomped out. Because you can't have people coming in from other companies
Yeah,
and get away with that. Like, they would have punked out WCW so bad had
yeah,
that happened and not beat them up.
definitely, definitely. So let's talk about you writing for the Pro Wrestling Wire and WVWF. How did you get involved with them in wrestling media and journalism?
Well, I just kind of did it. My friends and I, we were big wrestling fans. And like I said, we had the thought that every friend group has ever had. We are so funny, people need to hear us. So, and if you've not had that experience with your friends, you're not real friends, you know? So we came back from a show. We were coming back from Cleveland. I'm from Pittsburgh, so, we're all fired up. We sat down and we talked about every single match and we gave our honest thoughts, and people liked it. There was a company that came to be, and I was like, "Let me help you." My background is in history. I'm a history teacher, and I had already been published true crime author. So I was like, I've been a fan since I was a kid, published author, historian. Like, I want to work with you. So that's when I started going into the writing. I started doing the match results and show write ups, biographies, anything like that. And I got my footing in one place, and then people saw it. So I got into other places, and it just built from there.
Sweet, sweet. That's what's up. So you write for both Pro Wrestling Wire and WVWF. So about the my bad. Sorry. What's been your most memorable story or interview to cover so far in your wrestling journalism career?
I got the incredible honor of covering the Dark Side of the Ring episode about Daphne
Oh,
for Slam Wrestling, which is a really, really big platform up in Canada. And, the hearts are connected to that. So, like, it was a really big deal. And as somebody that grew up in the time that I did, Daphne was a huge influence. So to be able to write about her was such an honor. I remember seeing the list of episodes and I saw her name and I was like, I have to do this. And I bothered that poor guy for like months. Don't forget about me. I want to do this. And he let me.
that's what's up. Um, so how would you describe the identity of WVWF and what makes them stand out to you?
Uh, they are definitely a family friendly, entertainment focused company. Like, you go there for the people, the characters, the wacky stories, the all that kind of good stuff. If I had kids, that would be the place I'd take them. And then they'll sprinkle in guys like Dax Preacher who does the hardcore stuff. So you'll see like family friendly stuff, and then the next thing you'll know, there'll be hardcore. So there's a little something for everybody.
That's cool. And how long have they been a promotion in that area?
Last Their last show, which was about 2 weeks ago, they celebrated their 29th year.
Oh, so they've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Do you know if any like major stars or big names have ever come and wrestled for them?
Not off the top of my head, and I'm embarrassed I should.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. It's all good.
I got to write for a company up here in Pittsburgh where Kurt Angle came from, Britt Baker.
Oh, cool.
Corey Graves, Thea Hale, all of the Pittsburgh people came
Oh,
from.
so,
So,
oh, so I didn't know Thea Hill was from Pittsburgh.
hmm
That's what's up. So
She had a really cool little Roman warrior thing going on. So she'd come out with like the maroon, like she was really cool.
yeah, and she's only like 21, right? 2021.
Barely 21.
Yeah. And she has a lot of potential. I know she was with Chase U in NXT, and she's kind of branching out and doing her own thing. Um, I definitely see a lot of potential in her. It's kind of hard with Jordan Grace, JC Jane, Jada Parker, who you still got what's her name? Her name is right on the tip of my tongue too. Lash Legend. Lash Legend. So you got a lot of the women's division in NXT is pretty deep. So I still could see her eventually being like a North American women's champion.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
You made my heart go when you talked about Jada Parker. That is my favorite.
hey,
And
I like her too. Like
I love her
I
so much.
yeah,
And Lash Legend is everything WWE wants you to believe Jade Cargill is. But Lash
I
Legend can
agree with that.
actually do it.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. And then that's another star that I see, Lash Legend. I see a lot of potential with her. I think they need to just give her to go and let her be a star in NXT now that she's not in Meta-4 anymore. I think this is her time. Like, put her in a mix for a championship and just let her do her thing. And then, she's dating Trick Williams, so it'd be cool to see both of them a couple with title belts.
Yeah. How crazy of a timeline are we in that a WWE superstar has a TNA championship?
Hey, you know what? I never thought that would happen, and I think it's good for Trick Williams because it's like I feel like he's ready for the main roster, but then I don't think he's ready. Like I feel like if they call him up, I think he'll kind of get caught in the shuffle. Cause like if you put him in the inner, like if he'd be a mid Carter at best. You put him in the Intercontinental title talk. I mean, you got Dominic Mysterio, you got Penta, you got Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed that's still in the mix. Finn Balor, even though he's a tag team champion, and Judgment Day are kind of on good terms right now. You still got Ludwig Kaiser. You got a lot of people, so it's just kind of like where would he fit in? And then you look on SmackDown, Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, basically the entire bloodline.
Mhm.
Carmelo Hayes, like I don't know. I just think him being in TNA and being the champion right now is kind of giving him time to like work on his craft. So when he does get called up, I think he'll be ready.
Oh, definitely. It gives him a chance to be the guy in a smaller company. Like TNA is bigger than NXT, but not as big as WWE. So yeah, I could see why they gave him that opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk a little bit more about women's wrestling and talk about the Evolution 2 PLE. So what are your thoughts on it finally happening, and how important is it for women's wrestling today?
I'm so excited that they're doing it again. It should have been an annual thing.
Yeah,
I don't know why it took so long. I am a little disappointed about the build for the vast majority of the matches. They're not quite as deep as they should have been.
yeah,
The triple threat between Becky, Bailey, and Lyra is probably about the deepest build that they've done.
yeah. Because it
But
seemed like that story kind of goes all the way back to like WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Bailey had got attacked against Becky during WrestleMania. Becky comes in and be Lyra's partner. So that's probably like you said, the only storyline that really has like a story to it. And then I would say after that the Naomi and Jay Cargo, because they supposed to wrestle also at Evolution too. Um, I think it's only a matter of time before Naomi cashes in and she's the women's champion. I think she's gonna do it at SummerSlam, in my opinion.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So what did you think of the Queen of the Ring finals between Jade and Asuka?
I mean, you can't really complain when you get Asuka. I'm not too big on Jade, but I can see why they put her in there. But Asuka is just amazing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
And I
you can't get disappointed.
definitely. And I think it would have been cool if she would have won Queen of the Ring to see a story between her and Io, because I think that probably I think if they would have if Oscar would have won and it was those two, I think that probably would have been a match whatever night that it was on. I think that probably would have been one of the best matches at SummerSlam. But
Oh
I'm
yeah.
oh go ahead.
No, I was definitely agreeing with you. That would have been incredible.
Yeah. But I'm kind of worried about Io's title run. I'm for some reason I don't think she's gonna win that Evolution, just on the strength of I can't see Rhea taking another loss to Io, because it was
Yeah.
she done took like 3 losses already or something like that.
From the whole span of her career, so to
Yeah,
do another one, and they're hyping it up too much, saying like Rhea has never been able to beat her. Well, eventually she has to.
yeah, yeah. So I think I just got a feeling that it's gonna happen at Evolution. And I'm just trying to think who, if Rhea wins, who would she end up wrestling at SummerSlam? So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I'm kind of I kind of want to see the match between Jordan Grace and JC Jane. I think Jordan Grace is going to win that one too. I just don't see a long title reign for JC Jane. Not saying that she's a bad wrestler or anything. I just see with Jordan Grace, and now you done added Blake Monroe, Mariah May from AEW. I just don't see a long run for her.
No. And I mean, how do you not put a title on Jordan Grace?
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
mean, with
definitely
her
yeah,
with the title and all your posters and everything else, like that just looks right.
yeah. And then I think too, just everything that she done went through kind of getting here, like when she was in TNA, when she was the champion, she took a loss to Roxanne Perez like right away. And then, at the time when she finally got here, she was kind of in the back burner because Julia and Stephanie Vaquer was here. So now that they didn't got called up, it's kind of cool now that she kind of got the spotlight to herself now.
Yeah, and she's definitely earned that. Her TNA run was incredible.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of TNA, but like just reading about it on articles and stuff. Yeah, she had a pretty good run. A real good run.
Yeah. But I mean, TNA has always done right by their women. You talk about the evolution, revolution, whatever. That all started, in my opinion, in TNA because the
Oh yeah,
knockouts have always been presented better
yeah,
than any other women's division up until now with the NXT.
yeah. And they had a pretty good roster. You had Gail Kim, you had Awesome Kong, you had Velvet Sky, Angelina Rose. That was her name, right?
Angelina Love.
Angelina Love. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, you
My
had Mickey.
girl, my favorite, ODB.
Yeah, ODB. Mickey James. I'm trying to think of who some other people.
Victoria, Daphne.
Victoria, yeah, Daphne. Yeah, they had a real strong roster, and that was around the time when WWE was doing. They still had the Divas Championship, and they matches was lasting. I don't even think they matches were 3 minutes.
Not even.
So, looking at the Evolution card, and I think we kind of talked about it a little bit. Is it any? matchups or any talent you excited to see?
I'm definitely intrigued about the triple threat with Bailey, Lyra, and Becky. The tag team match, that should just be fun. The four-way tag match.
Yeah.
Um, the story between Charlotte and Alexa Bliss has been pretty interesting to watch. I mean, she got tagged in with a pat on the head like that. That's just funny.
And then how she tried to get excited and hugged her after they won, and then she kind of came to her senses, like, nah, like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah, I love that. I laughed pretty hard when that happened.
um, Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton, I'm kind of excited about that. Trish Stratus at her age, she can still wrestle. You know what I'm saying? And Tiffany Stratton, she's the future of women's wrestling in WWE. So it'll kind of be good to see the past against the future. You know what I'm saying? Hall of Famer. A lot of people will probably say she's the GOAT in women's wrestling. And then you got Tiffany Stratton, who's up and coming and stuff. So I think it'll be a pretty good match. I don't expect Trish to win, but I think they'll put it on a nice match.
Yeah, I think Tiffany will come out the other side looking amazing. She's worked very close with Trish when they were teaming up, and you're gonna learn a lot learning from a legend like her that took it as seriously as she did.
Yeah,
She made herself. Like they probably would have been just happy keeping her running around in skimpy clothes, but she's like, no, I want to be a wrestler, and she made her own opportunities, and she made herself be taken seriously.
yeah, because I definitely remember when she first started. She was the manager for Test and Albert, and when she would be in certain matches, like you could tell that she couldn't wrestle. You know what I'm saying? And then it just seemed like out of nowhere, she just like turned it around that quick. Like, and well, how many women's championships she won? Like seven,
Hmm.
if I'm correct. Yeah, seven. And that's just dope how she just became a legend. Like her and Lita really like opened the doors and paved the way for a lot of the women's wrestlers now.
Yeah, that was the greatest women's feud of all time by
Yeah,
by
I
far.
agree.
Like, there's not another women's feud that had that much depth, that much talent, that much stake. Like, you had two polar opposite characters, so it was kind of like pick your side. Um, you had two, like, a bunch of different reasons of why they were fighting, two different styles. Like, it was incredible to
Yeah,
see that.
definitely. And then those two, they were the first women's main event on Monday Night Raw, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
how incredible was that?
yeah, that was good too, because that was the match when Lita did the dive outside of the ring, and it looked like she broke her neck almost. Like the way she
Oh,
landed,
the,
it's
the,
like
the
she, yeah,
oh.
like she bent like a plastic spoon or something like that. And thankfully, she was okay, and she was able to finish the match.
Yeah, that was hard to watch.
Definitely, definitely. Real quick, we got a comment from Crander Q, friends of the Square Circle. He said, "Hi, friends." Shout out to Crander Q. Appreciate you stopping by and leaving a comment. So, what are some common challenges you think women still face in pro wrestling, both in ring and behind the scenes?
Not being taken seriously. From my own personal experience, this fall I will be coming up on my 10th year as a writer.
Oh,
Um,
congratulations.
Thank you. It's still surreal. I still feel like a fan, and I just write stuff so I don't have to buy tickets. Um, but I still get a lot of sexism where it's like, oh, well, you're only here because of like who you were dating. And I know that that stuff's pretty rampant, unfortunately. Um, Another barrier would be there's not a lot of women for other women to compete against. So if you are a female, odds are you're going to have to be put in an intergender match if you want like an actual match. So there's not the opportunity to learn and grow because you're not getting that same amount of experience.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I noticed that in in the independents that you see a lot of intergender matches, like a lot of and I just thought that, that they would just do that just, just out of just, hey, let's just put an intergender match together. But it's so you're saying that the women are still not getting the respect that they deserve as far as like in the indies.
Definitely not. And there's just not as many. It's very rare to get a women for an indie company to have a women's division. Usually they'll have like one or two, and then they'll bring in other people for them to work with,
Okay.
or they'll put them in intergender situations because what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Um, the advantage of that is usually it's guys that they've trained with, that they've worked with, but it's still like not where it should be.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, they need to change that because yeah, because I don't have a problem with intergender matches. I just don't want to see as much of it. You know what I'm saying? And I think I think there's only intergender matches as far as like women and men. It should be for like women that are like China. When China did the intergender matches, it was special because she went up against the top guys, and she was the first woman to win the Intercontinental title. So you know what I'm saying? I think stuff like that, yeah, but just I wouldn't want to see Maxine Dupree against Rusev. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. So I don't know. I think like I agree with you that promotions need to try to find a better way to put more women in their promotions, and so they can have options and don't have to wrestle the guys all the time. So I definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah, WVWF has a sister company called Mountain Mama Wrestling. One of
Okay.
the guys that um, works at WVWF wanted to start an all women's promotion, and that their show got pushed back a year because they could not get enough female talent for a whole card.
Wow.
And it was so sad because it's such a cool vision, but there just wasn't enough women to make that happen.
Wow. And the whole crazy part about it, and I said this on previous episodes of mine, women's wrestling is killing men's wrestling right now. Like for real. Like all their matches, like most of their matches have been some better than some of the guys. Like the top women's matches, like um the Bailey and Sasha Banks match that they had at Takeover some years ago.
Ooh,
That was
yeah.
classic. You know what I'm saying? And just the other matches that they've had at the takeovers, what was it? Charlotte Flair, Bailey, and Sasha Banks. Like those matches were great. And then the matches Asuka when she was in NXT, yeah, Shayna Baszler, and just even now with Bianca Belair, Naomi, it's been a lot of women that's been changing the game. And then you look now to the future. I think the future of women's wrestling is Roxanne Perez, Stephanie Vaquer, and um, right on the tip of my tongue, Julia. Julia. I de-
Yeah.
I definitely think one of those three are going to be winning the Royal Rumble very soon or main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so cool that we even have like a women's Royal Rumble.
Yeah, and then that's another thing. Just like in my opinion, and a lot of my guests have agreed too, that the women's Royal Rumble has actually been better than the men's the last couple of years. And I'll even say that with the Money in the Bank matches and the War Games matches. I think they only put the men on last because the men War Games matches have the major storyline. So they put them on last. But honestly, if you switch it around, the ladies will still put on a good main event.
I mean, what do you remember? Like, you remember Io putting the trash can on her head and diving off. Like, you
Yeah,
get moments like that.
yeah, and she did that like 2 times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that's another person that I'm not gonna say that she slept on, but Io Sky is definitely up there. She's definitely improved too. I like her. I like that they're giving her more opportunities on the mic and stuff, and you could tell that she's been working on her English too.
Yeah. I love her vignettes when she's like coming in and out of water.
Yeah,
Like, it's so unique, and women don't get that kind of like promotion.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, 'cause, like they just did a video with Nikki Bella, and it's her just standing in a stairwell. It was good, but it didn't stand out like the EO Sky ones did.
right, right. So, what do you think about Nikki Bella coming back?
I hate Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella just reminds me of everything that's wrong with women's wrestling. Um, I have softened a little bit trying to be fair because as a fan, you go to shows, and I had to think about it this way. When you go to like Monday Night Raw or whatever, you're gonna see guys dressed up as wrestlers. You're
Yeah,
gonna see the guys dressed as Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair,
yeah,
Bray Wyatt. Like, you're gonna see those guys, and it wasn't until the Bellas that we saw women cosplaying as wrestlers, and now we see women dressing up like Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Naomi, Bianca, and the Bellas. For whatever you think about them, they did usher that in.
yeah, yeah.
So you kind of have to be fair about it. But I
That
still think that they're representative of everything that's wrong with women's wrestling.
I would say that the Bella twins, I would say that they were good on the entertainment side and pushing the company and stuff like that. But on the wrestling side, you can't name one classic Bella Twins match or Nikki Bella match. You know what I'm saying? And it's no knock on them. I won't say that they're overrated or anything, but what I will say is that as far as like ring talent, I don't put them up there with the Charlotte Flair, the Bailey, the Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, uh, Roxanne Perez. I just don't put them. I don't put them high as far as like wrestling talent.
No. I mean, look how many people Brie Bella injured in like a month when she kicked, wasn't it Alexa Bliss in the head?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, it was Liv Morgan. It was Liv Morgan. Sorry.
Oh okay,
Like,
okay.
there was like every week they were injuring somebody.
We got
Ugh.
another comment. Sisterhood of the Square Circle. Nikki did get better at the end, but little too late, unfortunately.
That's fair. I do think her match at the last Evolution against Ronda Rousey was probably the best match she's ever had.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Shout out to Sisterhood of the Squared Circle. That is the sister podcast of Friends of the Square Circle. So make sure you check both of them out on Facebook and check out some of their old episodes on YouTube also. So, who are some of the rising women's wrestlers you think fans should keep an eye on in the next year or two?
Well, definitely Jada Parker. That's my girl. I love her so much. There's just that's that it factor that you can't teach. Just like even when she comes out and does like the little shoulder thing,
Yeah,
like you just
yeah.
have to watch her. Um, I actually really like Izzy Dame. I don't know. There's something about her that catches my eye.
Yeah, and she's in that group with Sean Spears, right?
The
Oh,
culling, yeah.
yeah, the culling, yeah. Um, I think for me in the next year or two, I would definitely say Jada Parker. Um, I still want to say I still want to throw Lash Legend in there. I think that she has the potential, and they just got to give her the right story. Um, I still say Roxanne Perez, even though she is a women's tag team champion. She's in the Judgment Day, but I think when she really gets a chance to like kind of like be on her own, I think she's gonna. I think she's gonna be a star. Oh, I'm just trying to think because it's not many in WWE that I'm trying to think of that's like besides Stephanie Vaquer, Julia. Yeah, I would say Roxanne Perez, Lash Legend, Jada Parker, and I would say Sol Ruka too. I like Sol Ruka.
She is stupidly athletic.
Yes,
None
yes,
of the stuff she does should make physical sense. Like it does not make sense at all what she's able to do.
yeah. Cause that finisher that she has, where she go on the rope and kind of do like the backward, like the
This
counter clockwise flip, and then it turn into a diamond cutter or RKO.
mm-hmm.
That's like one of the best matches, best finishers in wrestling right now.
Yeah, I'm loving her team with Zarya because like she'll just stand on Zarya's back and dive off. Like
Yeah,
it's such a cool dynamic that we haven't really seen much of for
yeah.
one.
I definitely see a feud brewing between those two, though. I think little stuff that's been going on, I kind of see them planting them seeds, though.
Yeah, just like with JC Jane's group, like Fallon Henley and her are gonna fall out very soon.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? I forgot about another person, the girl that won the LFG contest. I think if
Oh,
they
Tasha Steele, or ah,
is
yeah, I
Tasha
know who you're talking
Steele or
about.
something like that.
The girl, she won the Olympic medal.
Yeah,
She won
yeah.
gold medals, yeah.
I think that's another person to look out for too. I think if they really give her opportunity and just like let her work and just kind of grow her character slowly, I think that's somebody that could be that could be in the mix also at NXT.
Oh yeah, she's gonna do pretty well.
We got another comment from Crander Q. He asked who was the winning LFG coach. Undertaker won the first season.
What do you think about Booker crashing out every week?
Man, you know, yeah, because that first episode for the new season, he just spazzed out like.
He did.
But you know what? It's kind of messed up that they fired Mickey James and then brought Michelle McCool on there. I thought Mickey James was good, but you know, it's the Undertaker, so.
I mean, I don't know if we'll ever get the real story about that, but I think Michelle McCool is criminally underrated. What
Yeah,
she was able to do during her time, and then all of her appearances in the Royal Rumble have been spectacular.
yeah. I'm surprised that they never came to her and asked her if she wanted another like a longer run or something like that. Because I think she
I
could do
think
it.
yeah, she's definitely due for like one last good run.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We got another comment from the Wrestling Collection Connection, and it says, "Darren Crender Q, you should know this stuff having a wrestling podcast." Shout out to the Wrestling Collection Connection. Thank you for leaving a comment and joining the show. So, from your perspective, how was the portrayal and treatment of women in wrestling evolve the last 5 to 10 years?
I think it's significantly improved. You can see the difference in like the how physical the matches have gotten. They're longer, they're better stories. Character development is a big thing because like women for the longest time really didn't have distinctive characters.
Yeah.
You know, they were all interchangeable, and then you'd have the one random standout crazy girl.
Yeah.
But now we have women with backstories, with fleshed out characters that we can relate to, that you can tell stories with,
Yeah.
and that's really really cool.
Yeah, I agree. And another thing that I like too is that they have women's wrestlers of all shapes and sizes. Like back in the day, everybody was kind of like the same size, but as you see now, you see more plus size women. Nia Jax, Piper Niven, Awesome Kong back in the day in TNA, and they can wrestle too. You know what I'm saying? Even though Nia Jax, when she had when she started off, you know, she kind of had that reputation of being reckless in the ring, but since she came back from being released, she's been killing it.
Yeah. I do think we have to be a little bit fair to Naya because she didn't have indie experience. She
That's
didn't
true.
have time to perfect that. And just like with the Bellas, if you're having your rookie year put on TV, like that has to wreck your nerves. Because like that's when you do make your most mistakes, and that's put on TV for the whole world. Like there's no way that's easy.
Yeah, definitely. We got a comment from Sister of the Square Circle. I hated that they did all the different colored hair in the beginning. Now we're actually seeing the different styles. I agree with that. Definitely agree. And we
That's
got another.
interesting.
Oh, sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, I was saying that's a really interesting point about the multicolored hair and the different forms of expression.
Yeah, definitely.
But before they were all blonde.
Oh yeah, definitely. And Sisterhood of the Square Circle left leaves another comment. Naya has gotten better. I definitely agree with that. Definitely agree. She yeah, she's been killing it. Like the promos, the work in the ring, and I would even say that she deserved her Queen of the Ring win a year ago, and then when she was the champion, she definitely deserved it, and you could tell the emotion when she won. Like you know everything that she had been through, trying to you know coming back and everything, it was well deserved.
Absolutely.
So do you feel independent promotions are doing enough to spotlight women's wrestling, or is there a gap to be filled?
There's definitely still a huge gap. There are a couple of companies out there that are trying. And again, it's just a matter of what they have available to them. Um, it's really hard to secure a women's match. I helped run a company recently, and that was a struggle that we had because that was something that I was like yelling at the guys about. Like we have to have a real women's division, and it was so hard getting women to come down.
Wow. So so how is because you said you're from Pittsburgh, right?
Mhm.
So how what would you say like the women's wrestling scene is in Pittsburgh right now?
The best that it's ever been. We have That's where like Lady Frost comes from. If you're familiar with her in AEW,
Yeah, I've heard of her. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, she is incredible, and her story is incredible because she was a little bit older when she started. You know, I'm not trying to put her business out there, but she got started later than most. We have a really big company, IWC, and that's where a lot of the bigger names come from.
Okay.
They always have really good women's matches. Izzy, you know, the little girl, the little fan girl,
Bailey girl.
Bailey.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was just up here last show.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, she wrestled the IWC Women's Champion at the last show, and it was in a cage. It was incredible.
Hey, because you the last one of the guests I had a few weeks ago, Dr. Jeremy Housewright. He has a book, and he was talking about the one of the people that he talked about in his book was Izzy, the Bailey
Really?
girl. Yeah. And it's been cool to hear her story, like being at all the NXT shows, and now she's an actual wrestler now. Do you think she'll eventually get into WWE or AEW?
I mean, there's a built-in story. When Bailey probably feels it's time to, hang him up, or, she'll probably request to have Izzy come in and do something with that. Because, like, we've seen that story play out so many times with the men. Well, they'll show pictures of the guys as little kids getting autographs from their favorite wrestlers, and then they grow up to fight them. And we haven't really seen that much with the women. We saw it with Roxanne. We saw it a little bit with like Liv Morgan, but like we've never really gotten that deep of a story with women, and that's just built in, you know.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. That would be cool if she like came to WWE and before Bailey retired, those two had a match at a PLE or something, kind of like Bailey's retirement match, and sort of like a passing of the torch match. I could see something like that too, especially if Triple H is still around. Like I could see him trying to put that together and having it kind of like play out for a long time too.
Oh yeah, and then the videos leading up to that, seeing little 10-year-old her crying, like that would just get you.
Yeah, because who was that made her cry? Wasn't that Sasha Banks?
Okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Sasha pulled the little bow out of her hair.
yeah, yeah. So speaking of Sasha Banks, well, she's Mercedes Moné now. Um, she's got a lot of championships, and would you right now with all the championships she's won, would you put her in the GOAT conversation for women's wrestlers?
I mean, you kind of have to. Regardless of what you think of her character or her in-ring work, she has done so many firsts. We've never seen a female belt collector before. Like we saw that with like Omega and all of these different guys, but we've never seen it from a female, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. And then
And yeah,
oh, go ahead.
sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like her character work has always been above and beyond.
Yeah,
I remember her in NXT. She would have the little stamp instead of like signing. Just little things like that she just got instantly.
yeah,
That
definitely,
set her apart.
definitely. And it's I agree with you. I think she should be in the GOAT conversation. But it's so funny, like when we talk like in wrestling, when we talk about the GOAT, it seems like we always bring up what they did in WWE. If you know what I'm saying, we always bring up WWE guys, and I think that as far as like this, just with the men and the women, if you have people in the Hall of Fame, or you not Hall of Fame, but as far as the GOAT conversation, you got to look at what they've done all across the board. Because I feel like a guy like AJ Styles on the men's side should be in the GOAT conversation. Like he's won almost every belt in WWE, and that's not even including what he did in TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan, and whatever other promotions that he wrestled in. Like he was wrestling in WCW in 1999 before they folded. They had a tag team cruiserweight division or something like that, and he was one of the members. But I definitely think he should be in the conversation. I even think Kenny Omega should be in the GOAT conversation. But it just seemed like the GOAT conversation is just so WWE that I don't think you have to be a real wrestling head to put guys like Omega and Styles. And switching over to the women's side, I definitely think Mercedes need to be in that GOAT conversation with Charlotte Flair, Trish Stratus, um, Fabulous Moolah, whoever. Like, right now she's a belt collector, like you said, and you're not seeing that in women's wrestling right now. And she could get the TNA. Why I say TNA? AEW Women's Championship this weekend at All In.
She could. I kind of hope that she doesn't, just because I love Toni Storm so much.
Yeah, yeah.
And from a booking perspective, it's well, where do you go from here? You know, but
Yeah,
I love the work that Toni Storm is doing. There's never been anything like that. Like, her character is just so incredible.
yeah, because it's like it kind of got like a Marilyn Monroe type of vibe, and it's just she just be all over the place, just talking stuff, but it's entertaining. You know what I'm saying? And she's getting more of a shot in AEW than she did in WWE. Like once she got moved up to NXT, called up from NXT to the main roster, and the way they were just pushing her, you could kind of tell that she wasn't. They weren't gonna do much with her.
And
And
that's a shame because she's so good.
yeah, yeah, and she was killing it in NXT, and she was in NXT and NXT UK, correct?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So like for most WWE wrestlers that lead to go to AEW, I just think it just the time. If the timing is right, you'll get that big push because you look at guys like Rusev. He didn't get a good run there. Malachi Black, his run was okay. Um, so I don't know. It just seemed like I guess the time has got to be right, and then they roster is so deep. It's like it's hard for everybody to get a chance at TV time.
I mean, there's only so much you can fit into one show.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that, and I remember telling a couple of guests on previous episodes like they need to do a brand split. They need to have an AEW split and a Ring of Honor split, and they need to put more exposure to Ring of Honor. Let them get a TV show on a major network so they can get that exposure. Like, because I feel like Tony Khan, since he bought it, he really hasn't done anything with the company. Like, there have been some bright spots. Athena has been the champion for like what, almost like 2 years or something like that. I know she's been the champion for
Something like
a long time.
that.
Yeah. So I think that they need to just find ways to give Ring of Honor some exposure, and then I think they just need to split the roster up so we know who's on Ring of Honor, who's in AEW. I barely know who the Ring of Honor champion is. And I think that's Bandito, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because I thought
The
it was
only AEW or Ring of Honor champion I know is the pure champion, and that's Lee Moriarty, who's another Pittsburgh guy
yeah.
from Taylor Promotions. I'm gonna put myself over just a tiny bit. Whenever you hear the crowd go Lee, 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 and he does like the head thing, I started that here in Pittsburgh.
That's what's up.
But don't let anybody tell you different. That was me.
You know what? I'm gonna look out for that next time he's on one of the either Dynamite or Collision, or if I get a chance to watch Ring of Honor, I'm gonna definitely look out for that. So,
And he used to come out with like the big headphones, and he would hand them to me, and then everybody would chant Lee, and he'd be in the center of the ring, just
that's
he's
what's up.
so good, so good.
That's what's up. We got a comment from Crander Q, Friends of the Square Circle. She's there now, but the future is so bright for her and the women. He must have been talking about when we was talking about AEW.
That could be a lot of people we talked about. We covered a lot.
Yeah. All right, then one last question. If you could book your own all women's main event featuring anyone from the indie scene or major promotions, who would you pick and why?
All right. So this might be controversial. Well, this is going to be controversial, but I think I would book Charlotte Flair versus Tessa Blanchard. There's no way those two would not tear the house down. Like, there's just no way.
Mm.
And I know with Tessa, with her background and her controversy, that it will never happen. But
Yeah,
I still think, from a worker wrestling perspective, that match would be incredible.
that would be a good one. But I think she. I'm surprised TNA gave her another opportunity. And then it was like when she came back, it was like the fans, the TNA fans gave her hell. They were chanting races and stuff like that. But I agree with you. I think that would be a good match.
The Tessa, "we're coming for you" chants are just so loud.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And this and it's just messed up because it's just like if that never happened, she probably would be in WWE right now, or AEW, you know. So it's just it's messed up that she got that reputation because she's a good wrestler and she was actually the TNA world champion at one time. Yeah. So and
Mhm.
that's what I talk that and that's what I say like when we were talking about the intergender matches. Um like that should be held for like women that's special. You know what I'm saying? Like that have a special look or just somebody that you got that faith in, and like you said, China was one of them that did it, and Tessa Blanchard, and they changed the game. Tessa was the first women's world champion, China the first intercontinental champion. So, like I said, if they do something intergender matches, it's got to be something special. It's got to be done right.
Yeah. The timing is probably too far gone now, but who didn't want to see Rhea Ripley face Dominic Mysterio?
You know
Who
what?
didn't
That's another one. That's another one that I wouldn't mind seeing either.
like I would have been so excited to see that match.
Definitely, and I think that I mean just the whole story, like the Judgment Day story was going on just as long as the Bloodline story, and the Judgment Day is still going on. Like that's just crazy how it started with Edge, and he recruited Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, and her story with Dominic and how that panned out. It kind of helped Dominic be the star that he is now, being in the Judgment Day and being with Rhea Ripley or whatever. And he just seemed comfortable now. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be a matter of time where he's not going to need the Judgment Day, and he's going to be on his own. I could see him not right away, but maybe in a few, maybe about 2 3 years, maybe in line for a world in for the world title.
I could see that.
I could see that, and I could see him actually being a baby face very very soon too. Because what was it last week or a couple weeks ago? I could tell that they starting to cheer him now.
Yeah, go back to WrestleMania when he won the Intercontinental Championship. They loved it to the point where they sent him back in the ring to do another like celebration.
Yeah,
Like, you gotta love Dom.
yeah, yeah.
And
That
the stuff with AJ last night was so funny. Like, AJ got him like a get well soon cake, and he leaned over, and AJ's in the background. Just that's so funny.
yeah,
Like, there was no need for it to be as funny as it was. They had
yeah.
the little shrine to Liv Morgan like she died. Like,
Right.
that was great.
I'm trying to think of what main event that I would want to see if I had a chance. You know what? I think there is one. I would like to see a triple threat match between Naomi, Jay Cargill, and Bianca Belair. Just that whole story that they had. And um, I'm gonna say Awesome Kong, and it's an independent wrestler, female wrestler. I don't know if you heard of her. She's wrestled here in Michigan a few times, but I think she's from Tennessee. Her name is C Rex. I would love to see her and Awesome Khan. You gotta check her out. She's like one of the she's in my opinion one of the top female wrestlers in the independents. So if you get a chance, check out C-Rex and you know, whatever promotion you working with, you know, if you want to bring her on one of your shows, you reach out to her.
Yeah, we always have our eyes out. I will check her out if you check out Pepper Pride.
Yeah, she's from my hometown too. When I went to an independent show in I think it was May, Superior Championship Wrestling, and she wrestled at that show. I think she's their women's champion right now.
Probably.
Yeah,
Uh,
I follow her on Facebook. Yeah.
She's so good. Man, I was hoping to give you somebody awesome that you'd never heard of, but she's gonna be signed very soon.
Yeah.
I interviewed her and I found out she hasn't even had a year in yet. I'm like, how are you that good and you don't even have a year in? That
See
makes no sense.
that I didn't know. Yeah, because she seemed like she's been wrestling for a long time. But I didn't know that she wow, I did not know that. I'm gonna have to I think I'm following her on Facebook, but I'm gonna look at her page and check out some of her videos. Possibly try to get her on the show too.
She's so good. I can't say enough good things about her, both as a character and as a human being. She's just the best.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, Courtney, I thank you for coming on. It was great talking wrestling, women's wrestling, independence. Before we get up out of here, you got any last words or you want to tell people where they can find you?
Check out Pro Wrestling Wire. They kind of gave me like the keys. They just said here's the login. You can write whatever. So I pop up whenever. But that's probably the best place to if you're interested in anything that I write, that would be there. Or for the WVWF.
Okay, cool. Any outside of that, any other social media platforms you want anybody to follow?
If you're on Facebook, the Ultimate Wrestling Fan Club, that's a place where we share dumb memes.
Okay.
We have fun there.
Sweet, sweet.
Excuse me.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Before I get up out of here, just want to thank everybody who's been watching this live stream. Of course, you can find Wrestling from the 313. Follow me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are on the road to 10K. Right now, we're getting close to 6,500 subscribers. So if you haven't followed or subscribed, make sure you subscribe. And of course, check out the WSN app on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon. And like I always like to end my show, support wrestling podcasters, support independent wrestling, support women's wrestling, because we all on the rise right now. You know, we wrestling podcasters doing big things. The independent scene is big right now. Women's wrestling is big right now. So make sure y'all check out all three, whether it's my podcast or any other wrestling podcast. You know, just check us out, support us, hit those subscribe buttons and follow buttons and all that other good stuff. So for my guest, Courtney Wood, once again, thank you, Courtney, for coming on. We will be on tomorrow for another episode of Wrestling from the 313. I am your host, Mike D, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.